Have you ever wondered what bankruptcy really means? It's a term wrapped in mystery, cloaked with misconceptions, often conjuring images of financial ruin. But is it always the catastrophe it's made out to be? Let's untangle this enigma. Bankruptcy. It's a legal status, a declaration of sorts, when an individual or a business can't repay their outstanding debts. It's a process designed not just as a penalty, but also as a lifeline. A fresh start for those buried under financial burdens they can no longer bear. But it's not a decision to be taken lightly. Bankruptcy can have severe implications. It affects credit scores, reputation, and future financial opportunities. It's a mark that stays for years, a shadow that follows long after the sun has set. So we're left with the question that's been hanging in the air since we started, a question that's far from simple. But what exactly is bankruptcy, and how does it work? To fully understand bankruptcy, it's important to first grasp its definition. Bankruptcy is a term that sends chills down the spines of many, but what does it truly mean? It's a legal process that occurs when an individual or a business finds themselves unable to repay their outstanding debts. Imagine a ship steadily sinking under the weight of its cargo. The ship is the debtor, the sea represents the creditors, and the cargo, the debt. When the ship can no longer stay afloat, it's time to send out a distress signal. This is where bankruptcy comes into play. It's the distress signal for sinking finances. The process is initiated by the debtor filing a petition in the court. This can also be done by the creditors, although it is less common. The petition includes detailed information about the debtor's finances, assets, liabilities, income, expenses, and a list of all creditors and the nature of their claims. Once the petition is filed, an automatic stay comes into effect. This means creditors cannot attempt to collect their debts outside of the bankruptcy proceedings. This provides a temporary respite for the debtor, a moment to catch their breath and plan the next course of action. Next, the court appoints a trustee who takes control of the debtor's assets. The trustee's role is to sell the non-exempt assets to pay off the creditors. Exempt assets are those deemed necessary for basic living and are thus protected from liquidation. The creditors are then paid off in the order of their priority. The process ensures that all creditors are treated fairly, and the debtor's assets are used to the maximum extent to pay off the debts. Finally, if the proceedings go as planned, the debtor receives a discharge relieving them of the obligation to pay any further debts. This doesn't mean they walk away debt-free. Certain types of debts like alimony, child support, and student loans usually can't be discharged in bankruptcy. Bankruptcy, therefore, is a legal status for those unable to pay their debts. Now that we have a grasp on what bankruptcy is, how does the process work? Well, it all starts with filing a petition. This can be done individually or jointly if you're married. You'll need to provide a detailed list of your debts, income, property, and the details of your financial history. This is a crucial step, as it sets the stage for everything that follows. Next comes the automatic stay. This is a legal injunction that halts actions by creditors to collect debts. The automatic stay provides a safe haven, giving you some breathing room while the court processes the bankruptcy case. It's a pause button of sorts on your financial world. Then, we have the meeting of creditors, also known as the 341 meeting. This is a chance for the creditors to ask you, the debtor, questions under oath about your financial affairs and property. It might sound intimidating, but remember, it's a step forward towards resolving your financial challenges. Following the 341 meeting, the bankruptcy trustee will decide if there are any assets that can be sold to pay back your creditors. If there are, these assets are liquidated, and the proceeds are distributed among your creditors. If there are no assets to liquidate, as is often the case in Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the process moves forward without this step. The last stage is the discharge of debts. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The court will wipe out many, if not all, of your debts, giving you a fresh start. This doesn't mean all your debts will be wiped clean. Certain debts like student loans, child support, and some tax debts are usually non-dischargeable. It's important to remember that while this process may seem daunting, you're not alone. There are professionals who specialize in guiding individuals and businesses through the bankruptcy process. They can provide valuable advice and help you navigate the complex landscape of bankruptcy law. So, that's how the bankruptcy process works. But what happens after? Bankruptcy is not the end of the road. There's life after it. Embarking on the road to recovery after bankruptcy can feel like a daunting task, but it's a journey that's entirely possible. Let's explore what this might look like for you. Firstly, it's essential to understand that bankruptcy does leave a mark on your credit report. This can stay there for up to 10 years, impacting your ability to borrow money or secure credit. You might find it challenging to get a mortgage, a car loan, or even a credit card. However, this doesn't mean you're forever locked out of financial opportunities. Far from it. It's important to remember that the impact of bankruptcy on your credit score decreases over time. As the years pass, its effect diminishes, and you can take steps to improve your score. So, how does one rebuild credit after bankruptcy? The key is to start small and be consistent. You might start with a secured credit card, where the credit limit is equal to a cash deposit you make up front. This can help you establish a pattern of responsible borrowing. Paying your bills on time, keeping your credit utilization low, and avoiding new debt can all contribute to a healthier credit score. Bankruptcy also gives you a chance to reflect on your financial habits. It's an opportunity to learn from past mistakes and make positive changes. Creating a budget, building an emergency fund, and practicing mindful spending can all play a significant role in your financial recovery. Of course, it's not all about the numbers. Bankruptcy can also affect your mental and emotional health. It's normal to feel stressed or anxious during this time. Seeking support from friends, family, or a financial counselor can make the process less overwhelming. In conclusion, life after bankruptcy might look different, but it's far from bleak. With patience, perseverance, and a commitment to financial responsibility, you can rebuild your credit, regain your financial independence, and move forward with confidence. Bankruptcy does have lasting effects, but recovery is always possible. Bankruptcy, like any financial decision, comes with its pros and cons. Let's delve into these, shall we? First, the advantages. Bankruptcy can offer a fresh start for those drowning in debt. When you declare bankruptcy, most of your debts are discharged, meaning you are no longer legally obligated to pay them. This can provide immense relief for individuals and businesses alike, who often struggle under the weight of mounting bills and incessant collection calls. Another advantage is the automatic stay. This legal provision halts all debt collection efforts, including foreclosure, repossession, and wage garnishments. It's like hitting the pause button on your financial woes, giving you a much-needed respite. However, like a double-edged sword, bankruptcy also has its drawbacks. A significant one is the severe hit your credit score will take. A bankruptcy remains on your credit report for up to 10 years, which can make it challenging to secure credit, buy a house, or even rent an apartment. Additionally, bankruptcy does not wipe the slate clean for all types of debt. Student loans, child support, and certain tax obligations typically survive bankruptcy. Therefore, it's crucial to understand the limitations of bankruptcy relief. Another downside is the potential loss of property. Depending on the type of bankruptcy you file and your state's exemption laws, you may have to surrender some of your assets. This could include your home, car, or other valuable possessions. A less tangible but equally significant con is the emotional toll bankruptcy can take. The process can be stressful and stigmatizing, leading to feelings of shame and failure. However, it's important to remember that bankruptcy is a legal tool designed to help, not a moral judgment. Weighing these pros and cons will help you make informed decisions about your financial future. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned about bankruptcy. We've explored the enigma of bankruptcy, how it's a complex financial strategy, not just a last resort. We've unveiled the process, shedding light on the steps from filing to discharge, and the legal implications along the way. We've also walked through the aftermath of bankruptcy, emphasizing that life doesn't end here. In fact, it can be a fresh start, a chance to rebuild and reorganize. We've weighed the pros and cons, revealing that while bankruptcy can provide immediate relief from debt, it also carries long-term consequences for your credit. We've journeyed together through the world of bankruptcy, demystifying its complexities and debunking common misconceptions. It's been a comprehensive look at a tool that, when used wisely, can provide a lifeline to those in financial distress. Remember, bankruptcy is a tool, not a life sentence. It's there to help you when you need it the most.